Welcome to a brand new explainer. Okay, let's dive into this. Because today, we are looking at one of the absolute most fascinating intersections of modern space-age technology and ancient, continent-spanning mythology. We're literally going to map a legendary undersea structure that connects two nations. And in doing so, we'll explore two entirely different but equally captivating ways of seeing the world. Whether you know it as Adam's Bridge or Ram Setu, trust me, this is a story you absolutely will not want to miss.
So, let's start with a massive logistical mystery. Just imagine for a second you're a space scientist at ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization. Your goal? To completely survey a legendary 29-kilometer stretch of land connecting Dhanushkodi in India to Talimanar in Sri Lanka. Sounds simple enough, right? I mean, you just send out a fleet of survey ships equipped with sonar and call it a day? But there is a massive catch. Traditional ships literally cannot navigate this area without getting completely stuck.
And the reason ships can't sail there? It all comes down to one staggering number: 99.98%. Almost the entire structure is totally submerged in what researchers actually call shallow and super shallow water. Because the water level is so incredibly low, standard oceanic survey vessels are, well, completely useless here. For the longest time, this little detail made generating a complete, accurate map of the bridge pretty much impossible.
To figure this out, researchers from ISRO's National Remote Sensing Center in Jodhpur and Hyderabad realized they had to look up. They tapped into data from an American satellite, specifically NASA's ICET-2. Now, this satellite is equipped with a highly advanced laser altimeter. By shooting laser photons from space all the way down into the ocean, these light particles could actually penetrate that shallow water and measure the exact elevation of the submerged structure. They were literally mapping the ocean floor using lasers from orbit. How cool is that?
And this brilliantly illustrates why this geographic feature remained a mystery for so many centuries. I mean, with only 0.02% of the structure actually exposed above the waves, the vast majority of Adam's Bridge is totally hidden from the human eye. You can't sail over it, and you can barely even see it from the surface. It literally took a laser from space to finally peel back the water and show us what was hiding underneath the whole time.
Okay, so what did the ISRO scientists actually find down there? Well, underneath the waves lies a continuous ridge made entirely of a chain of limestone shoals. No rocks, no vegetation, just limestone. It spans exactly 29 kilometers and stands an impressive 8 meters high off the seabed. But, and this is key, it isn't just a solid wall. The mapping revealed 11 narrow channels cutting right through the bridge. These channels are only about 2 to 3 meters deep, but they are absolutely crucial because they allow water to flow freely between the Gulf of Mannar and the Palk Strait.
Now, the physical history of this structure is just vast. Geologically speaking, scientists note that somewhere between 35 and 55 million years ago, the supercontinent of Gondwana drifted and crashed into Laurasia, forming the landmasses of India and Sri Lanka. And fluctuating sea levels from these massive tectonic shifts helped form the land bridge itself. By the 9th century AD, Persian navigators were calling it Setu Bandai, which means the bridge on the sea. But here is the truly wild part. According to temple records from Rameshwaram, this bridge was actually above water and completely passable by foot until the year 1480. That's when a severe cyclone finally submerged it. And of course, jumping forward to 2024, ISRO finally mapped the whole shebang.
But, you know, the science of limestone shoals and tectonic shifts, that's really only half the story. Let's move to Isichuan and see how this builds into something much bigger. Because for millions of people, this is Ram Setu, a profound cultural, mythological, and religious epic. So we're not just talking about a fascinating geological formation here. To many, it is an intensely sacred site constructed by a legendary army.
According to the ancient Hindu epic, the Ramayana, this exact 29-kilometer stretch is where Lord Rama's Vanara, or monkey army, constructed a massive, monumental bridge. The text describes how this bridge was built across the ocean so that Rama could reach the kingdom of Lanka. So this specific geography matters deeply to millions of people because it serves as the physical anchor for one of the most famous and culturally significant stories ever told in human history.
To really understand why this massive bridge even had to be built, we kind of have to look at the epic scale of the Ramayana itself. Lord Rama, born in Ayodhya as the prince of the Kosala kingdom, is forced into a 14-year exile in the forest. And during this exile, he faces the ultimate crisis when his wife, the goddess Sita, is kidnapped and taken across the ocean to the island kingdom of Lanka. Rama must then embark on this massive, sweeping quest, achieve victory over the demon king Ravana, and eventually return to Ayodhya for his coronation.
ushering in a golden reign of justice known as Rama Raja.
At the very heart of this epic is Rama himself. He is revered as Maryada Purushottama, which basically translates to the ideal man, or the best of upholders of Dharma. His journey isn't just about fighting demons. It's a constant, agonizing tightrope walk of moral dilemmas. Throughout the epic, his life is filled with incredible hardships. So the crucial point is that the text portrays him as seamlessly blending reason, emotion, and an absolutely unyielding duty to righteousness. He really represents the ultimate standard of behavior and compassion.
The necessity of the bridge, though, really begins when the conflict severely escalates in the Panchavati forest. A demoness named Shurpanakha attempts to seduce Rama, who, upholding his vows, politely refuses her. Enraged, she threatens Sita. Then, Rama's intensely protective brother, Lakshmana, retaliates by attacking Shurpanakha, and, well, this kicks off a brutal cycle of violence that reaches the demoness's brother, the incredibly powerful demon king Ravana. To exact revenge, Ravana uses a magical disguise to lure Rama away and successfully kidnaps Sita, taking her all the way across the ocean to Lanka.
Now, the Ramayana isn't just an adventure story, it's a remarkably deep exploration of ethics. It argues that a superior being doesn't answer evil with evil. Actually, scratch that. It says a noble soul exercises compassion even towards those who enjoy injuring others. The text constantly asks us, what is the appropriate ethical response when faced with true darkness? It really champions a thinking hearts approach, where taking action is constantly weighed against a deep, personal, moral responsibility.
So faced with the seemingly impossible task of crossing the ocean without a massive fleet of ships, Rama travels south. There, he forms an alliance with the monkey king Sugriva and his incredibly devoted minister, Hanuman. Together, they marshal an immense army of monkeys, who literally throw boulders and whole trees into the sea to construct the Ramsetu. And, historically speaking, this mythological necessity links right back to the physical location of those exact limestone shoals mapped by ISRO today.
You have to understand the cultural impact of the story is truly staggering. It was originally composed in Sanskrit by the sage Valmiki somewhere between the 8th and 4th centuries BCE. But the epic didn't just stay in India. The idea spread like wildfire with incredible momentum across all of Asia, fundamentally shaping the arts, literature, and cultures of places like Java, Bali, Thailand, and Myanmar. Today, it's celebrated annually through massive dramatic plays like Ram Leela and the Festival of Dussehra. And Rama's victorious return to Ayodhya? That's commemorated by Diwali, the world-famous festival of lights.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how perfectly these two different realities converge. On one hand, we have tectonic shifts and sea level fluctuations creating a 29-kilometer stretch of limestone shoals, recently surveyed from space by NASA lasers. On the other hand, we have a bridge built by a legendary monkey army to rescue a goddess exactly as described by sage Valmiki thousands of years ago. Both realities, the modern scientific and the ancient cultural, converge perfectly on this exact same stretch of water.
Which leads us with a final thought to ponder. Whether you look at this structure as the natural result of colliding supercontinents and receding ice ages, or as a sacred monument to ancient heroism and devotion, what does it actually teach us? Remember, historical records suggest this bridge was actually above water and walked upon until a cyclone in 1480. Just like the bridge itself, our planet, our physical geography, and the epic stories we tell about them are in a constant, beautiful state of evolution. Keep learning, keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.